We welcome you to downtown OKC and Paycom Center for Thunder playoff postgame. Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals between the Thunder and the Timberwolves officially in the books. The final score 124-94. The Thunder winning the series 4-1 and now moving on to the NBA Finals. As we welcome you back inside of Paycom Center, the trophy presentation has literally just ended. And for the second time in OKC history, the Thunder are your Western Conference champions heading on to the NBA Finals. Royce, you have been with this team from the beginning. I just need to let you have the floor to explain the gravity and the relevance of this moment.
I mean, I don't think I can, honestly. I mean, what it means for Oklahoma City, for Oklahoma, 13 years ago, this team kind of improbably broke through into the NBA Finals. It was a different time. The Thunder had just relocated. They didn't have office supplies in the building, and they just kind of found their way through. And then over the last 17, 18 years, what this organization has meant to the city, the community, the state as a whole, it's bigger than just advancing into the finals, Paris. This team means so much more, but to be able to celebrate in this way and to feel this good about doing this and what this team's journey has looked like, to tear it all down, to have some of the heartbreaks that they've had, to be so close. I've had a lot of people remind me that 9 years ago today was Game 6 against the Golden State Warriors, one of the most heartbreaking games in this building's history, and what this team had to endure on the back end of that, and to have the resolve from Sam Presti in the front office and everybody to tear it down and to believe that they could build it back up again and to build it up back again better and to learn so much about it, to now be 4 wins away from this crowning achievement. I know I just said a lot of words, but it really doesn't summarize what it really means.
Words can't really put into perspective just what this moment means. But, however, you can recognize the work that this team has put in, the discipline, the consistency. From the regular season, we saw this team win 68 games, and not always does that translate necessarily into postseason success. But what we saw were the habits from this group showing up when it matters the most. And this game, I think, is a great example of that, Royce. It would have been very easy for this very young Thunder team to get ahead of themselves, see that light of the NBA Finals along the horizon, and let this game get away from them, maybe not be present for this moment. But they were locked in and slammed the door shut on this series with a dominant 48-minute performance.
Perfectly said, Paris, because that was my exact same train of thought. I think everybody felt it coming into it. There's a lot of confidence in this team. You win 68 games. You have the margin of victory that they do, the double-digit wins. You're up 3-1 in the series. There's a lot of confidence, I think, in what might happen, but there's also a lot of anxiety because of, you feel like you might relax, the youth of the team, all those sorts of things. But you said it perfectly. There's no reason to believe that they shouldn't have because of the focus, the determination, the habits that they've built. Coach Mark has said it before, you bet on this group. And you believe in what they stand for, and they showcased that in the first 12 minutes, the way that they absolutely clamped down on the Timberwolves. They set a tone in this one, and they were not to be denied in this game.
All of that work, it earned them something that is very rare in an NBA arena, and that is a Western Conference Finals trophy presentation. How about this scene in front of the best fans in the entire world who were, I feel like, on their feet for 48 full minutes tonight, and the Thunder wearing those shirts. You see Thunder Chairman Clay Bennett lifting up that trophy, recognizing the Western Conference champions. What a scene inside of this building.
I mean, it's an unbelievable thing. And again, everybody's thinking the same thing. I was talking to some of the players on the court. They're celebrating. They're feeling it. They know there's 4 more to go, and they understand that. But you also have to take a step back and celebrate this moment, Paris, because you've won the Western Conference. It's not just about advancing to the NBA Finals, but you've won the West, and everybody understands how difficult the West is. It is a treacherous path to go through the regular season of the Western Conference and then to advance through the Western Conference playoffs. What this team had to do, overcoming obviously the Memphis Grizzlies in the first round, Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets and the 7-game absolute war that they went through with the Denver Nuggets, and then this battle against this young up-and-coming Minnesota Timberwolves team, another great challenge here. This is an achievement to recognize and to celebrate. There's still 4 more to go, and everybody understands that, but you got to celebrate this moment as well.
I love that you put it in that perspective, because you think to the start of this postseason, and it might feel like a few months ago, because it almost kind of was, that you can forget that Grizzlies series, and the Thunder had to work to sweep that Memphis team. Then you go up against a really good Denver Nuggets team, a really good and hungry Minnesota team in this series in the Western Conference Finals, and you overcome challenge after challenge. You learn from every experience, and at this point now, heading into the NBA Finals, this is a better team than the team that started this postseason.
Absolutely. I mean, again, that's one of the challenges that you take on as you begin the playoffs, is you've got to improve as you go along. This team was fantastic, historically great in the regular season. The postseason's a different beast, and there are different challenges that pop up. Going down 2-1 to the Denver Nuggets, that Game 4 is one of the most resolute performances you're ever going to see. The Game 5 pressure, the intensity that this team, the bell that they had to answer. Then, of course, their first experience in a Game 7, and then what happened in Minnesota in Game 3 with the punch to the absolute haymaker uppercut that the Wolves threw in that game, and for this team to then get to 0 and respond again to answer the call the way that they did in Game 4. Minnesota played an amazing Game 4 the way that they performed in that one, but the Thunder were able to win it, and then, of course, the closeout experience here in Game 5.
And headlining all of this for Oklahoma City, the most valuable player of the NBA, winning that Magic Johnson trophy, the MVP of these Western Conference Finals, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, hoisting that trophy in front of this Thunder crowd after putting on a performance of 34 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists in this game, an MVP performance for an MVP.
An unbelievable performance by SGA. And look, this was a big wide margin, but again, Thunder led by 33 at halftime, Paris, but everybody was feeling the same thing. It was like you didn't want to look at the clock and just try to watch 24 minutes tick off of it, and the Wolves cut into the lead a little bit. SGA had that big steal and dunk, hit a big jumper out of a timeout, and then the stop and then the 3 to start the fourth quarter was huge. Just so many moments that you can just rely upon Shai. Again, he is the absolute representative of consistency and composure, 2 of the great qualities that this team has among many others. And SGA displayed it throughout this entire postseason, just the way that he was able to really just kind of rally the team, come up with big buckets. I was watching SGA just at shoot-around this morning, and just, again, that calm composure, biggest game of his life on the horizon. You would have never known it. You would have thought it was January 10th, and he was about to play the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, it didn't matter, because SGA is the same guy every single day.
His superpower is his consistency. He's going to show up the same guy every single night, regardless of circumstance. And all of that consistency has helped lead this Oklahoma City Thunder to this moment right here on the precipice of the NBA Finals. And in his address to the crowd, in his interview with Lisa Salters, he gave a lot of credit to his teammates. He said, without them, I would be nothing. And that just really encapsulates who SGA is. He's one of the greats, but also one of the guys.
No doubt about it. I mean, again, that's one of the things that's so, I think, uncommon about this group is nobody pulls away from the team. The forces of the NBA want to do that to you. They want to separate you with the money and the fame and the brand deals and all those sorts of things. And what's unusual and uncommon about a guy like SGA is, as his star has risen, I think he's only grown tighter with his group. And he's been able to elevate them alongside him. We've seen it with guys like J-Dub, Chet, Isaiah Hartenstein coming into this team, playing his best basketball. So many different players have developed alongside SGA. He's amplified them. And again, that's what an MVP does. It's about the statistics. It's about so many different things that he does on the court, but he also amplifies his teammates. And I think that's, again, such an uncommon element of him.
An uncommon player on an uncommon team. What a moment for SGA and this Oklahoma City Thunder. And also, one of our teammates was working hard after the game as well. Let's hear from Nick Gallo, who caught up with J-Dub after this game.
Dub, you guys focused on the little things. It's something that you talked about during this series. How did that show up at the beginning of this game and throughout the 48?
Our start was tremendous. I really liked just our focus, attention to detail at the start, and I think that propelled us the rest of the game.
You had such a hand in both ends of the floor, once again kind of creating that defense to offense flow. Tell me about your mindset and the way that permeated through the team.
I just go out there and compete and leave everything else on the floor, and whatever happens, happens. And we have a really good team. I just try and set the tone for us, and I think everybody follows suit. And it's also been that way where the team picks me up the way they compete. So it's definitely a push and a pull, and we just have guys that are ready to go.
You keep referencing team. You all have been an uncommon group. Tell me about the character of the guys that you're going to war with every night.
Don't flinch. That's our biggest thing. Ups and downs during the season, ups and downs during the game. You don't flinch. You keep pressing, and that's what we've been doing.
Dub, you're headed to the NBA Finals. What does this feel like?
It feels like we got work to do.
All right, congratulations. Good luck on that work.
Thanks, Nick.
This group always so locked in, and you heard J-Dub right there. The work is not finished. This Thunder team, they'll celebrate this moment for right now because they certainly earned it, and they celebrate every journey, every path along this journey toward their ultimate goal, but they recognize that goal still out there on the horizon, and they have to approach these next challenges just like they approached the last one.
Absolutely. I mean, their challenge now is to get better in this downtime that you're going to have because the finals has a set start time. It's going to start when it starts. So now the Thunder got to start preparing. They don't know who their opponent's going to be, whether it's the Pacers or the Knicks. Obviously, you can kind of start diving into the tape and getting ready for that. But again, that's a big challenge for this team. And it just goes to show, again, the focus of the group. I loved what Chet told Lisa Salters as well, where she was kind of asking him about how satisfying it is to be where you're at right now after, some of the adversity that Chet had dealt with. And he said, I wouldn't say it's satisfying. It's a step in the journey. And again, that's just, the uncommon element of this team. It would be so easy, I think, to, even in this moment, I mean, I'm feeling it. I want to celebrate.
I know.
I want to be like, this is amazing. But they're celebrating, they're embracing it, they're experiencing it, but they also understand that there's more to come, and their challenge right now is to continue to get better and to continue to focus on what the next task is, which is that unknown opponent that's waiting for them.
I love that Coach Dagnall also gave a little call to action to the crowd as well. He's like, hey, Thunder fans, rest up because we're going to need you on Thursday. So work's not done. There's still more work to do on the horizon. But Royce, let's talk a little bit more about this series that we saw from Oklahoma City. Very different games from game to game. Very different challenges from game to game. But what we saw consistently was Oklahoma City learning and growing through each individual day in between the games. And yet they come out on top. It was just such a wild, you can't just really put a theme on this series overall.
Yeah, I mean, let's rewind back to game one, right?
Yeah.
It came 48 hours after game 7, an
Right.
emotional experience. Again, a first-time experience for this team. It was, you felt like you'd played the Denver Nuggets for 3 straight months.
Yep.
You were knee-deep in Nikola Jokic everything. The guy was one of the toughest players you're ever going to see to stop. Jamal Murray, all that stuff. Then you have to turn around, flip the page, and get ready to play the Minnesota Timberwolves, who were ready and waiting for you. Again, a team that was playing their best basketball. They had just played an incredible 2 series against the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. They were tested. They were ready. And the Thunder had to flip the page. And there was a lot of people that felt like that was kind of Minnesota's opportunity to sneak up on the Thunder and get them right there. And Oklahoma City was ready to play the game. They had to ease into it. Remember, it was 44 points in the first half, a total rock fight.
Yep.
But Oklahoma City endured through the 48 minutes, played great. Then again, turned the page to game 2, play even better in that game. The game 3 haymaker from the Timberwolves, but the response game, the answer game from the Thunder in game 4. And then, of course, a closeout opportunity on the home court. I mean, it was the chapters that this series had. It didn't feel like the absolute marathon that the Nuggets series did, but again, it was a challenge all the same.
And a very difficult challenge because you look back to game 4 and that game could have easily turned in Minnesota's direction if a couple shots go down in their direction in that game. And so for Oklahoma City, this is all about the compounding work that we've seen over the course of this series, and they come out on top with the win, and they are the Western Conference Finals champions. And now the work still on the horizon for Oklahoma City. Like we heard from this team, they're so uncommon, they're so young, and yet they're so grounded in this present moment. And this is something, Royce, we've seen throughout the regular season, this group working and getting better through every experience, so that for these moments, it's all habit at this point. They're not learning anything new. They're not rolling anything new out. Coach Dagnall isn't bringing out any new material in the locker room. It's all habits that they built up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, even if you just think about this game tonight, and there's no doubt that the Thunder have improved throughout this series and gotten better, but they just look so much like themselves.
Yeah.
And the absolute ferocious defense to start this game, holding the Timberwolves to 9 points in the first quarter, 3 of 20 shooting. I mean, this is the best defensive team maybe in NBA history. So that shouldn't come as a surprise that that's the tone that they set in this game. But I do think that people might look at this group and just say it is kind of unusual that a team this young, with the pressure and the anxiety and the tension of what might be ahead, can perform that way. But again, if you know this group, shouldn't surprise you one bit.
No surprise whatsoever, but always impressed. And what they did in these Western Conference Finals, very, very impressive. All right, stick with us here on Thunder Playoff Postgame. We've got more to break down this game, and also we'll hear from some Thunder players as well.
Big car payments? That's no fun. Even if you love your car or truck, the wrong vehicle loan can leave you wondering where your money goes and if your payment could have been lower. So if you're paying more than you should on your car loan every month, give a little love to your budget and contact Communication Federal Credit Union. There's no cost to find out if we can help. Plus, all new vehicle loans and refinances get the first 90 days with no payment. Love your car and your loan payment with Communication Federal.
Let Love's be your partner on your summer RV trip. Fuel up, grab a bite to eat, and stay the night at one of our 90 RV stops. Reserve an RV spot overnight and turn on amenities from your phone. With over 420 dog parks, we've even got your furry family members covered. We're the perfect pit stop for your next road trip. Love's, the heart of the highway.
With OG&E Smart Hours, you control your energy and your savings. If you're a busy bee, go with Smart Hours Daily, where daily price alerts let you maximize savings. Or how about Smart Hours Fixed? Just set it and forget it. Night owl? Choose Smart Hours overnight. No matter which you choose, with Smart Hours, you control your energy and your savings. When you reduce your energy use between 2 and 7 p.m. this summer, you help the grid, the environment, and your wallet. But you have to sign up to save. So sign up now at oge.com/smarthours.
It is all smiles here in downtown Oklahoma City, and it was all energy here inside of Paycom Center as the Thunder defeat the Minnesota Timberwolves 124-94 here in Game 5 to win the series 4-1 and become your 2024-25 Western Conference champions. An exceptional honor for this group who has worked for it certainly all season long. All right, let's get you over to the press room so we can hear from Thunder head coach Mark Dagnall at the podium.
Talked all week about focusing on
Air Comfort Solutions has always stood for cooling.
What did you see from the very outset of tonight that you were able to sustain through the 48 minutes to get to this place now?
Yeah, I just thought the mental toughness by the team was great. You know, obviously the opportunity to close the series out. Obviously, up 3-1, you know, it's easy to drift ahead, and we didn't do that at all. We just played the next possession and did a great job, just stacked them up and really, you know, kept the foot on the gas for the entire 48 minutes.
Mark, Valencia King, Real Talk Sports. Mark, one of the things you mentioned on the court tonight was the community of Oklahoma. For the fans across the world, the Thunder fans who may not get to experience this community, how would you describe it?
I mean, this is an unbelievable fan base. It's an unbelievable community. I've said this many times, but we've got a young team. We've had a young team the last couple of years, and the positivity in the community, the support, the encouragement through the ups and downs really puts the wind at our back. And when you've got a young team, these are players that are still trying to find their footing in professional basketball, and to exist in a place both in the arena and in the community where everybody kind of has your back through the ups and downs is helpful. You know, it's helped our players grow. I really believe that.
Mark, you said after Game 4, your offense won that game for you. Is it safe to say your defense did it for you in the first half? I mean, Caruso gets a steal a minute. He's in there, and he fouls up another break. Case and Wallace, was it your defense tonight, I guess, that got you going?
Yeah, I just thought the tone that we set in the game was really, really good. You know, just from the jump and all the way through, the guys, like I said, were unbelievably focused. They were able to cut through all the distractions of the game and all the emotions of the game and just compete on the next possession and did an incredible job. It's also a good time to note, I meant to do this off the top, just want to acknowledge Minnesota, who's been one of the best teams in the league for the last couple months, and we're humming in the playoffs coming in. And just like the Denver series, tested us in ways that have helped us grow. And so I have great respect for all those players in the locker room and their organization, Coach Finch and his staff.
Mark, the first thing you said about your team on the court after the game was that they're uncommon. You say it all the time. What's been uncommon about them, maybe specific to this playoff run, and what traits have they sort of sharpened to close out the series the way they did?
Yeah, I mean, I've said that many times. I truly believe that. This is, they're highly professional, consistently professional. They're high-character people. They come from high-character circles. They're unbelievably competitive. They put the work in behind it consistently through the ups and downs. And most of all, they're team first. I said that on the court, but they embody everything it means to be a team. And so they deserve this. They deserve the opportunity that we have now. I couldn't be happier for them because they invest so much in their own games, but they also invest so much in each other and in the team. And I just think it's a really uncommon thing in professional basketball that they've built.
Andrew Schleck with The Athletic. You talked about how this team has grown even just through this playoff run. In what ways have you seen them grow?
Just through the experiences, I thought today, we're up 3-1, we're coming home. All the psychological, human nature elements of that game would get you to exhale. I didn't think we've handled, Game 6 in Denver. We did not play our best game in terms of what we could control. Certainly Game 3 in this series, those were both with leads. And I thought our recognition of that and our course correction of that coming into tonight's game is a great example of that. These are rich experiences. We've played a lot of playoff games now and dealt with a lot of different things. And this team, as they've always done, they internalize the experience, they strip the emotion, they learn the lesson, and then they compete presently in the next moment. And that's why we've improved at the rate that we have, because they've got that way about them.
Mark, sort of a big picture question. What do you remember about the 2012 team, and kind of what does it mean for you guys to get back as a franchise to the NBA Finals?
I mean, I remember what you guys remember. I was a kid, I was younger, I should say. And those were fun teams, and it built a fun thing here. And like I said on the court, I have unbelievable respect for Mr. Bennett, first of all. The vision that he had to bring the team here, the way that this team has been bound to this community, the way that it has, they've really changed the city, through this team, and that was his vision. And then Sam has done the heavy lifting day to day on bringing that vision to life. Built an unbelievable operation of unbelievably talented people that you guys never see or hear from, that all have their fingerprints on an unbelievable day-to-day environment to work. It puts the wind at our players' backs when they walk in the building every day. I know our players appreciate that, but I just couldn't be happier for Clay and Sam, to have that team and then to rebuild really from scratch, and to get back here is an unbelievable organizational accomplishment for those two guys specifically, but for everybody that has worked here.
How close do you think this game, especially that first half, was to your team's best?
Pretty close. I thought we had it all going. Defensive pressure, defensive help, game plan execution, and then offensively the potency of the attacks. Minnesota threw different lineups, they threw different schemes today, and nothing we haven't seen, but it was quick, and our ability to pivot in response to that was impressive. And the bigger picture thing is the focus, through the distraction of a closeout game to go to the finals is what was most impressive. I mean, they were laser focused today, and that allowed our best to come to the surface.
Mark, in your on-court interview, how did it feel to be gallowed out there?
These guys, man. They're such a fun team. We're happy we're going to the finals, but I don't want to stop coaching this team either. That's how they are every day. And it's just an unbelievable experience every day to show up and be around them. I think they gain that energy from each other. I think that's also in a long season with a lot of ups and downs. Energy is a resource, and they bring energy to the environment, to each other, and we all benefit from that. First and foremost, I'm able to coach my best because of this group of players.
I know you got a lot of great performances out of different guys tonight, but for Shea to have yet another sort of transcendent performance in a big game, I think he assisted or scored on your first 5 baskets. I mean, just what did you particularly point to when you think about his performance tonight?
The tone. He just set an unbelievable tone. I think he understood his role in our mentality. He was a participant in that, and he was a leader in that, and he was ready to play from the jump, and Dort too, and on the defensive end. I thought those two guys specifically set the tone, and it's fitting because they've had their fingerprints on this build as we've layered guys on them, and Kenrich Williams have been here since the beginning, and those guys are such a huge part of the confidence we play with, the physicality we play with, and the day-to-day environment that we have. So for them to step up the way they did today was, I thought, fitting.
Mark, you had Alex Caruso and Hartenstein come through the in the offseason, and just can you talk about their additions and how they helped you through this Western Conference Finals?
It's felt like, I've said this every time everybody asks about them, but it's felt like they've been here forever. They've done an unbelievable job of being themselves and being confident in who they are and bringing their strengths to the team. They're not deferential. But they're respectful of the team, and they understood that this team had success prior to them being here, and they hopped on a moving train and did so seamlessly, and have only been additive from day one. And their impact has been. We're not here without those guys. Regular season or here, I could say that about every guy on the team, but certainly their fingerprints are all over this. Certainly in the postseason. And they've been all team, from the jump. It's been a pleasure to have them here.
Mark, to Jenny's point about being gallowed, and you mentioned it, how much easier does it make your job when you have this type of locker room chemistry? You cut through all that, the teaching, the instruction, and why do you think it is this way with this group?
Well, first of all, I don't know what everybody else's NBA coaching existence is like, but I operate at 100% capacity. There's nothing constraining me from coaching my best. There's nothing constraining our coaching staff from coaching our best. There's nothing constraining our chefs from doing their jobs. Everybody in our locker room is grateful and humble, respectful, kind, professional, and it allows everybody to operate at full capacity. And we don't take that for granted. I don't take that for granted. And you ask why, I think it's where they come from. It's their families, it's their circles are, as impressive as they are when you broaden out and you look at their homes, where they come from, who's around them, who's talking to them now, who was talking to them when they were 10 years old. It all fits together and makes sense. They're great people first, and that's why. That's why it's so easy to coach this team.
Mark, after that on-court interview, you kind of went over and talked to Sam and embraced him. Did you get a chance to kind of reflect on the journey you two have been on together specifically to get to this point?
Yeah, we're in it every day, so there's not a lot of reflection going on in any part, but I'm incredibly grateful to him, as we all should be. Every single person that's here, the day before they got here, he made the decision to bring them here. It's unbelievable. We all get to benefit from this environment that allows us to do our best work, and he's been the architect of that very quietly over time, and has assembled an unbelievable group of people, starting with our locker room. To Sam's question, he prioritizes the type of person that we bring in, and so it's no accident that these guys are who they are. But I have unbelievable gratitude for him. I know our players do. I know our whole staff does. And he deserves this. He works tirelessly. No one's more determined. No one's more relentless in their day-to-day. He'll never make it about him, but he's obviously a huge part of this. He and Clay.
Michael, Martin, let's talk Thunder. Mark, throughout your tenure, you've talked about sort of planting seeds, and what's it been like to sort of see those seeds bloom that you planted all the way back in 2021, 22, and so on?
It's been great. And the guys have followed the plan, the process. But I'll tell you, it makes it easy to trust the guys in a game like this. You're driving in, you want to win the game, you want to do everything you can to win the game, and then you remind yourself of the work these guys have done, the habits they've built, and it makes it easy to just kind of, let it play out. And like I said the other night, bet on them. And certainly today was a great day to bet on them.
Anyone else?
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, awesome perspective from Thunder head coach Mark Daigneault there in that post-game press conference. And the way that he describes the maturity of this group, how uncommon this team is, how consistent they are, it really does put into perspective why they've been so successful all season long. Royce, what was your biggest takeaway there?
I love what Mark said right there at the end, and you pointed it out off the top, Paris, just kind of talking about this team. And again, the anxiety and the distraction and the noise that might exist in a game like this, where what's on the other side of the 48 minutes potentially. And Coach Mark said it out. You're driving to the arena, you're feeling some of that, and then you stop yourself and you remember, I'm going to bet on these guys. I mean, the 48 minutes are going to go the way they're going to go, and they're going to be built upon the habits and the focus and the day-to-day work and the mindset of this group. Yeah. And that's the type of stuff that you can trust in, and the outcome is the outcome. I mean, that's the way sports work, and you can't always control exactly what happened. Like you mentioned about Game 4. If another shot or two goes in for the Timberwolves, we're sitting here talking about a different situation right now, potentially. Right. That's how sports are. The outcomes are the outcomes, but what you can bet on is the mentality and the focus and the mindset and the habits, and that's what this team has been all about.
All season long, and those habits showing up big time on the biggest stage in the league. Now, a couple of guys that we haven't talked about. We talked about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hoisting that Magic Johnson trophy right there at center court right after this game. But how about Jalen Williams, J-Dub, and also a guy like Chet Holmgren and the effort that he put into this game tonight?
I mean, those two guys, SGA is the MVP of the league and, deserves all the attention that he gets every single game. But, J-Dub, obviously what he did in Game 4 was monumental. Chet Holmgren right there alongside him. But both those guys, again, following up those massive performances to me, Paris, and being able to do it again in this Game 5. Yeah. People forget these guys are young players, and they were in these situations to some degree last season, second round of the playoffs against the Dallas Mavericks. Great experience there. But this is all new stuff for them, and for Dub especially to rise to the occasion. A lot of chatter about him online at different times, and he blocks it out and he performs on the court. Chet Holmgren is as competitive a monster as you're going to find in the league, and for what he did in this game, setting that tone right there alongside Shai. I don't remember what he had in the first quarter. I think it was like 13 or 14 points or something. 4 blocks in this game. Again, the impact that he has and the nightmare that he is in terms of a matchup. Both those guys, I mean, they were just awesome in this game.
And a lot of times the work, especially for a guy like J-Dub, the work that he does doesn't always show up on a stat sheet. I mean, he spends most of his time in this game guarding a guy like Julius Randle, who is known for being a really good player. I don't know if you've been paying attention to these postseason games for Minnesota, but he's been on a little bit of a heater, and he is not an easy player to defend. And J-Dub, a really good matchup for him, one of the most versatile players in the NBA, keeping him relatively quiet throughout this night.
Great call, because I think a lot of people are guilty of it. Observers of the NBA, whether it's fans or media or whoever, can often just kind of look at the box score and be like, all right, what did Jalen Williams do tonight? Right. And that's kind of how you evaluate a guy's performance, and that's never a fair thing to do. I mean, again, let's just look at a different Thunder player, Lou Dort, in this game. He didn't score a single point in the first half. Lou Dort was as important a player in this game as anybody out there for the way that he defended Anthony Edwards. And not just that, but again, like Coach Mark said, the tone that he set with the physicality and the intensity. So you extrapolate that to a guy like Jalen Williams, who, of course, part of his role is to score and to supplement the offense, to create, to be an engine when SGA is not on the court. But so much of what J-Dub does that is important to the number one defense, maybe in NBA history, is the versatility on the wing that he is able to have. Again, guarding a guy like Julius Randle, switching over to guard a guy like Anthony Edwards at different times. What he does is really a fulcrum of this Thunder defense.
The best defense in the NBA, and it requires elite defenders. You mentioned Lou Dort headlining all of that. Incredible effort by him throughout this game and these Thunder players. All right, stick with us here on Thunder Playoff Postgame. We got more to break down, and we'll hear from News 9's own Steve McGeehee right after this.
Air Comfort Solutions has always stood for cooling, heating, plumbing, and electrical services you can count on. Assuring comfort since 2004, our Oklahoma Strong team stands for accuracy, confidence, and support where and when homes need us most. Today, with our refreshed look and our expanded services, ACS stands for achieving 100% customer satisfaction, as we stand tall and do it all for OKC homes. Like a $69 AC tune-up to keep your home comfortable year-round. For whatever your home needs, don't stress. Call ACS.
Experience the sweet, vibrant flavors of Mexico in every spoonful of Brahms' new fancy sundaes. Enjoy a cascade of fresh fruits on Brahms' Tarta de Fresa Crema Sundae. Indulge in creamy cinnamon-kissed ice cream with silky caramel on the Chongo's Zamorano Sundae. Dive into strawberry paradise with Brahms' Fresas con Crema Sundae and savor each caramel-filled bite of Brahms' Sopapilla Cheesecake Sundae. Authentic flavors, bold traditions, and irresistible sweetness in every scoop only at Brahms.
Big wins are blooming across Riverwind Casino.
And the jackpots have never been sweeter.
Go all in on your favorite table games.
Hedge your bets on the biggest wins and unbeatable entertainment.
Use your wild card for the best perks and the top rewards.
And play for your share of the $100,000 Lucky May Days giveaway. Win with the best.
And we'll see you at Riverwind.
What a scene we had inside of this building. The Thunder defeating the Minnesota Timberwolves in these Western Conference Finals in 5 games, walking away Western Conference champions and advancing to the NBA Finals. As we welcome you back inside of the building, and we are now joined by News 9's own Steve McGeehee. Steve, you have been covering this team for quite some time. I just want to know what's going through your mind as you're watching that trophy presentation at half court.
5 games, right?
I sure did.
That's pretty good to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5 games. I thought it could go 6 or 7. But the ceremony, I thought, was the best part of the game. And the game was awesome, but to see the ceremony, see Clay Bennett out there, see Sam Presti, Mark Daignault getting the galloed with all the towels and the hat, that you knew that was coming. I think Jalen Williams wanted to do it sooner, and he was going to hold off. Yeah. Now we'll do it. Okay, but that was really cool. It was just a crowning moment for the collection that Sam has put together, and it was a shining moment. They're not done yet. They got Pacers or Knicks to go, but you have to celebrate the moment. It was just a job well done by Sam Presti, Mark Daignault being the coach, and that's the moment right there. You know, with the trophy in hand, they want to win the bigger trophy coming up. And that banner over our left shoulder up on the rafters, the 2011-2012 Western Conference, champions. That banner's been lonely for too long. We'll have a friend soon, I would imagine, before game 1.
That's right, Steve. What did you see from this team? Yeah, up there. It has been sitting there, for a minute since that happened. But I will say, even kind of thinking about it, that was such a different time. Obviously, the Thunder were so new at the time. There's been so many experiences with this team. I mentioned it to Paris. I know people want to cover their ears, but today's 9 years to the day since Game 6
I heard that
against
earlier.
Clay Thompson.
I think a lot of Thunder fans were thinking it,
but
Royce.
I mean,
yeah.
of course, that was a 3-1 series lead. But just kind of the experience of this team over time. You've been around it for so long. What does it feel like? To be 13 years removed from something like that.
It's just incredible how they kind of rebuilt it, and I felt like they've rebuilt it in a better way with all, still a lot of draft picks down the road.
Yeah.
That's something they didn't have with
and
Durant
a young team
and Westbrook and Ibaka. But that Game 5 was in Oakland, and the difference was Game 5 was here and not in California. So that's when I'm like, I think we got this. Let's not let this series linger. You don't want to play any more games and fearful of injuries and all that. Knock on wood 3 times. So get the job done tonight. And they spotted Minnesota a 3-0 lead, Julius Randle. And after that, it was all Thunder after that bucket by Minnesota.
How kind of them for that 3-0 lead early on. The Thunder, all Thunder for the rest of that game. What a game we had in this building. And Steve, thank you so much for joining us as always.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon. All right. Let's get you back over to the press room so we can hear from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the podium.
Set a tone right from the outset of this one as the 2 longest tenured guys on this team. Just what did you feel maybe as a connection between the 2 of you to be in the frame of mind you needed to be for this closeout game?
Like me personally, I wanted 2 things. I didn't want to go back to Minnesota, travel-wise, and then I wanted the fans to be able to enjoy the moment with us. I wanted them to be able to see it unfold in front of their eyes. I wanted them to be able to celebrate tonight in our building, go home, get drunk, whatever they do. I wanted them to have fun with the moment, and it was good. I just wanted to make sure that, like, above all, I could give my energy and my effort to try to give these fans what they deserve.
Shay, one of the first things, over to your right, one of the first things you did when you got the Finals MVP, Conference Finals MVP trophy tonight was hand it over to your teammates. Even outside of the game of basketball, what does this group of guys do for you in your life?
Yeah, they're special. I think like the biggest thing is like they make the NBA like not feel like a job. And it can at times with all the travel and all the hard days, the ups and downs. Now, I know I sound spoiled being in the NBA and complaining about hard days, but these guys really make it feel like I'm a kid playing AU basketball and 15 years old again. Like, they make it seem like it's just fun. And I think that's what makes us really good. Like, we have so much fun being out there together. And I'm sure we all know, like, when you're having fun with things, you give it your all and you excel at it because you enjoy it. Now, whether that's your job or not, but whatever you have fun with, you excel at, and that's why we've excelled for sure.
I'm not sure either of you right here. I'm not sure either of you knew this, but the last time the Thunder had a chance to clinch a finals berth was 9 years ago today. The Clay Game 6 in 2016. Obviously now you guys kind of give this day new meaning for the franchise. What is that like to sort of be part of the second chapter, the second mountain, as Sam likes to say, for the franchise?
Yeah, there's no correlation at all. We didn't even think about that coming into the game. That's something that, like you said, 9 years ago, we have no control over. Unfortunate event, obviously, but all we can do is come here tonight and control our energy and our effort and our focus level to give these fans what they deserve, and then our families what they deserve. Everyone that's sacrificed for us, they deserve this moment to be able to celebrate at home. And we took care of business from the jump. We were focused, we were together, we were energetic, we were aggressive, and the game turned out the way it did because of that.
And just like with the Athletic, this can be for both of you guys, but when Sam kind of laid out the vision for what this team was going to be, can you tell me a little bit about that from both y'all's perspectives, and then what does it mean to actually see it start to happen?
Yeah, Sam didn't lay out no vision for me. He traded for me. We had a few conversations. I realized he knows what he's doing very quickly. And then I just trusted him and controlled what I can control. And as you guys can see, he's done a great job of doing his job and has turned things around here very quickly. But yeah, I think it speaks to the tone that he set across the organization. He controls what he can control, and we do that all the way down the ladder, and I think that's why we've been able to have success so quickly.
This question is for both of you guys. Knowing that you have 4 more wins to get, what's the journey been like from you guys from the Dallas series until now? What lessons did you guys learn from that, and how did you guys apply that to this year and getting to where you guys are now?
We just have more experience, more games under our belt, more ups and downs through a season. Just looking back at the last year, a lot of us had never been in that situation except for maybe like 2 of us. So we just have more experience. We've seen a lot more things. Most importantly, we've been able to grow through the experiences and not get stagnant. And I think that's why we're getting a lot of the great results that we are right now.
Shay, I know you said hello to a lot of family and friends, but right after or before the ceremony, you went over and saw your wife and your son. What did that moment mean?
I think the best thing about that moment is that he has no clue what's going on, and he's just happy to see me. Like, you get caught up in life in general, you get caught up in so many things that like don't actually matter, and that's the biggest thing with having my son in the past year. Like, he's put on the forefront. Like, he's showed me everything that actually matters in life, and he reminds me of that every day I wake up. Every day he wakes me up. Every day he cries and wakes me up in the middle of my sleep. Like, he's amazing. He'll see this one day, I guess. But yeah, he puts everything into perspective for sure.
Can I ask both of you there at the end of the game, as the starters were on the bench, you guys were sitting by each other. I don't know what the conversation was like, but what was that like to sort of find the 2 of you sitting by each other watching this game and realizing the next step was an NBA Finals?
Yeah. Honestly, we're always together, so the conversation wasn't much different than it always is. Obviously, happy for the moment, but like, this isn't our goal. This isn't the end of the road. There was no like special conversation. It was just, let's keep getting better. One more series to try to go win.
Josie Pavone, Clutch Points. Shea, I noticed you had a moment briefly after the trophy ceremony with Kendrick Perkins. Last time Thunder made the finals, he was part of that team. Also, 2008 champion. What was that conversation like with Kendrick?
He just said he was proud of me. Told me to keep going. I said I appreciate it. Yeah, that was pretty much it. Nothing long, just nice, short and sweet.
Jalen, when it became a reality that you're going to the finals, how did it hit you? Did you have a moment? I'm sure it's something you dreamed about.
It feels very surreal. I know that's like a pretty typical word that people say, but that is what I'm feeling. Like I haven't really been able to like wrap my head around it. I think just from like this being my third year, kind of happened pretty fast. So I'm like trying to like put all of it into perspective. Like my brother got into the NBA this year, and like his first year is already done. Like so, there's a lot of like other things that go on that make me think like how fast and how blessed I am to like get to the point that I'm at now and who I'm getting to the finals with. So that went more into my mind just about how lucky I am and how like special this moment is.
Do you reflect on your journey much, coming from unheralded in Santa Clara and to being here now?
Yeah, I try not to forget it just because obviously that's a long way. A long way is a long time from now already. But yeah, just I try and keep it in the back of my mind just as a reminder of the progress that I've made and again, just how blessed I am to kind of get to where I'm at.
Jalen, you've stepped into this role alongside, right next to you, right behind, however you want to term it, Shea, the guy sitting next to you. And since Game 7 of last series, your numbers have been pretty incredible. You had some ups and downs before then. What did you find in yourself sort of in these biggest moments where now you say, oh yeah, I'm ready to do it on the biggest stage that there is in the NBA Finals, show up consistently, because you have been?
I think you kind of said it, just life is ups and downs. Same thing with basketball. I know I put the work in to be good in those moments. So you try not to get too high or too low when you do have an off night, when you do play well. Like you always try and like get back to zero and just center yourself, and that's what I've been able to do. Makes it easy, like you said, when I'm playing alongside him to be able to do that. But a lot of it is just like rolling with the punches and trusting the work that I put in over and over again.
Shea, how much do you reflect on the 22-24 win seasons you had and where you were then, and now you're the MVP of the season, MVP of the Western Conference Finals? I mean, do you reflect at all on those tough years?
Every now and then, those moments like helped shaped my character, I guess, as a basketball player. Helped me to be humble in success. Like, it's kind of the common theme, but like there's so many ups and downs in a career, in a season, in a game, in basketball in general. And those experiences, those hard times have just shown me like you stay humble, you persevere, you can turn things around, you do the right things. And I always whenever I get too emotional or too ahead of myself, I channel back into those memories just because they keep me grounded. And I guess where it all started.
Did it help at all?
All right, with us now on Thunder Playoff Postgame is Lou Dort. Lou, first things first, congratulations. Love the new accessory. That hat looks great. I got to ask you, coming into this game for this group, it could be really easy to see the finals on the horizon, really lose sight, lose focus, but you guys came out and set a tone from the outset. How were you able to cut through all of those distractions in this game?
I mean, we just had to stay with each other and stay connected, honestly. We knew it was going to be a battle. We were on our home court, and we had to get it done here. And, we was locked in from the beginning. We started the game really well, and then we just kept going.
Lou, you didn't score in the first half, but you were as important a player as there was on the floor with how engaged you were on Ant Edwards. What was your mindset? He's one of the best scorers in the world, and just the way that you were able to execute the game plan with the way that you guarded him, funneling him into your teammates. How'd you do that this series?
Yeah, with a guy like that, I can't really worry about my offense, honestly. I need all my energy just to stop somebody like that. He's a great player. He's going to have the ball a lot, and he's going to take a lot of tough shots. So, my main thing was just, read the defense offensively and all that. But, I had to take care of that on that end, and which I did a pretty good job.
Lou, you've been with this team. This is your 6th season. You have been with this team through some tough seasons, and you've been with them all the way through this journey to get to this moment. When you're at center court right there, you see that Western Conference Finals trophy, or the Western Conference Finals trophy. What's going through your head?
It's big. It's big. It's huge, honestly. It's just happy and glad that all the work that we did through those past years to get to this point. And then, there's a lot of guys here that were there in those tough times, so I'm just happy for them as well. But we earned that, and then, we looking forward for the finals.
Lou, kind of building upon that, I feel like, you and Shea and K-Rich, were kind of original members of that, kind of the pivot point of this team. But you yourself, you're so representative of what this team is all about, underdog mentality, kind of proving people wrong. And to think back of this journey for you personally, to go from the guy that was undrafted, two-way player, making your name in the bubble, the Game 7 there, and now here you are. And I thought it was really representative as the Wolves were kind of trying to make a push. It was you hitting the daggers in that fourth quarter. What'd that feel like for you?
Felt great, honestly. Like you said, my story, it wasn't easy, and I had to fight through a lot of stuff. And I'm glad this organization gave me a chance, and then I was able to be part of what we're doing right now. And we still got more. And then during the game, I knew they was trying to make that push, and I was trying to end the game right there. And then so I decided to keep shooting the ball, and then it was going in.
Lou, you mentioned it. Work's not done for this team. Where do you draw the line between allowing your guys to celebrate now and then turning the page and getting ready for the finals that are up ahead?
Nah, we can celebrate. We gonna celebrate this. All right, we gonna celebrate. We happy right now. We really happy of what we've done this season and through now. So we'll celebrate tonight, and then in a couple of days turn the page. But tonight we can celebrate.
You deserve it, definitely.
Yeah, and just kind of on that point, you kind of basically got a week until the finals do start now. So much of what this team has been all about is improving every single day, stacking the days up. How can you guys kind of get better over this next week?
First off, just rest. We had those past couple of weeks been tough throughout those past 2 series, but just rest and then regroup and watch film and see who we got to play next, and then from there just get the days that we have on the court and get better and get ready for that.
Lou, real quick, I don't think there's anything this Thunder crowd loves more than a Lou Dort 3 in the fourth quarter. This crowd, it went absolutely crazy for you. You deserve it all. Congratulations. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
So much. Thank you so much.
All right, stay with us here on Thunder Playoff Postgame. We will be right back right after this, breaking down these Western Conference Finals.
My doctor is my hero.
My doctor makes me happy, makes me feel safe.
It helps me get strong.
We're just so grateful that we don't have to travel out of state.
Oklahoma Children's Hospital cares for my child like their own. Gives us hope.
And has our trust.
Leadership starts at home. That's why Ford is from America, for America. And with a lineup of our most popular Ford trucks and SUVs, we're for Oklahoma too. Including F-150, Bronco, and Expedition. That's our leadership lineup. Right now, get employee pricing. You pay what we pay. Ford, from America, for America. At your best in Oklahoma Ford dealers. Proud truck partner of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Hey, have you heard what's happening at Mathis Home? The Monumental Savings Event is happening right now. Save big on our newest arrivals. We have hundreds of sofas with styles you love at unbeatable prices. Like this one. At just $5.99, you can enjoy this contemporary sofa by Ashley, complete with 5 accent pillows. Just one of over 100 great sofas in stock and ready for you to enjoy tonight with fast and free delivery. So don't miss out on the monumental savings event happening at your furniture superstore, Mathis Home.
Welcome back to Thunder Playoff Postgame. We are breaking down these Western Conference Finals that just concluded inside of this building. The Thunder took down the Minnesota Timberwolves 124-94, defeating Minnesota in 5 games to advance to the NBA Finals. And speaking of the Finals, here's the schedule. Game 1 is going to be on Thursday.
Chip,
it's going to be at 7
like
p.m. here in this building. The
one step
opponent
closer
still to be
to the
determined.
ultimate goal?
We have to wait for the outcome of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Pacers and the Knicks. But that Game 1, mark your calendars, Thunder fans. That is going to be on Thursday at 7:30 inside of Paycom Center. Let's get you over to the press room to hear from Chet Holmgren at the podium.
Look and see how we can be better, but overall I feel like we played a really good game. Everyone down the roster who got in played well, and it's a lot easier on the nerves than those close games. So,
Chet, you obviously don't win a game by this margin without everybody playing pretty well. But the way that Shea played tonight, I know it's just a continuation of the season he's had, but I think he scored or assisted on like the first 5 or so baskets of the game. Just what did you make of his impact overall tonight?
yeah, I think he does a great job of playing aggressive and then letting the game tell him what the right play is. Sometimes that's score, sometimes that's to pass. But you never really feel like watching him or playing with him. You never feel like he made the wrong read. When the defense gives him pass, he passes. When the defense doesn't force that, then he scores, obviously, and he's really good at it. And we saw that again tonight, no different than what we've been seeing. And, credit to him for having a really good game.
Andrew Schlecht with The Athletic. Chet, have you had time to just reflect on what this season has been like for you, being injured, having to come back, and then, now on your way to the NBA Finals?
Yeah, obviously I've thought about it. Before getting hurt feels like it wasn't even part of the same season, but, we're still in this thing, so kind of more thinking about what we have to do going forward than where we've been.
Anybody else? All right, thank you, Chet.
Great stuff there from Chet Holmgren following tonight's win in Game 5 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Thunder now advance to the NBA Finals. Royce, as you sit there, you listen to Chet, what he had to say. What are your takeaways there?
Yeah, I thought he said it great right there. Of course, I think a lot of people are interested in kind of the journey that he's been on. Yeah. But you can hear from Chet. He's focused on what's upcoming next for him and what he's thinking about going forward. So, he said it again, like I said, with Lisa Salters about he's not necessarily satisfied. I don't have time to be satisfied. I'm thinking about the next step in the journey. So I think for Chet, that's what his focus is right here. He's like Lou told us, they're going to celebrate. They're going to feel good about this. Yep. But they're also thinking about what's ahead and the ways that they can get better for whoever that next opponent is.
This team is always so locked in, so very present, and that's why they were so successful in these Western Conference Finals. Royce, taking this postseason so far for Oklahoma City in totality, what encourages you the most as you look ahead to an NBA Finals, depending on who the opponent might be?
It's kind of what Coach Mark was talking about tonight, with just when you're coming to the game and you're feeling the anxiety of a closeout game, you know what's on the horizon. But what you can bet on always is the habits, the focus, the determination, the work of this team. They've been consistent, and they've people can think it's a cliche. They can kind of roll their eyes at it. If you've been in the Thunder world all that much, you've heard all the stuff about 0 and 0 and stacking days. But it's a core part of who this team is and why they've gotten to this point and why they've been able to accelerate past at the young age that they are and become such an uncommon group. So, to me, that's a lot of what the next week's going to be about, and what is ahead for them is maintaining all those sort of kind of core standards that has built to the point of where they are right now today.
Well, guess what? Uncommon teams, they get uncommon outcomes, and not many teams can say that they lifted that Western Conference Championship trophy at center court like the Thunder did here today. What a vibe we had. Oh, real quick, before we wrap up, Royce, you spent a lot of time in this building. You've seen a lot of crowds. This one felt kind of seismic in terms of how loud they were.
Yeah, and you know, I think, again, this building was ready to go, and I thought there was a good chance. You know, everybody knows the tradition in Oklahoma City about standing until the first bucket. It was kind of funny when that first bucket happened. Everybody was kind of looking around like, I don't think I want to sit down. I think I'm just going to stay up.
I think I'm good standing, actually.
So, I mean, Coach Mark, though, told him, like, this was good, but you got to, just like the team's got to improve. Crowd's got to be a little better here. You got to spend the next week getting rested, ready. It's been a haul to get to this point. Every other day, games, all this stuff. A lot of emotional highs and lows, all that sort of stuff. Rest it up, get ready. Bigger games are to come.
That's right. Thunder fans going to be ready for Game 1 next Thursday here inside of this building as the Thunder advance to the NBA Finals. What a moment we witnessed inside of this building here today. The Thunder, your 2024-25 Western Conference champions, defeating the Minnesota Timberwolves here tonight. Once again, our final score, 124-94, with the Thunder winning Game 5 versus Minnesota to advance to the NBA Finals. For Royce Young, I'm Paris Lawson. A reminder to join us for a complete breakdown and reaction following Game 1 of the Finals on Thursday, June 5th. Until then, good night from Paycom Center in downtown Oklahoma City.